Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. Today I'm going to be showing you some books that I found at my local used bookstore. And so I'm going to show these because a lot of times I use books on collages and on tags and different things within my journals. And so I'm always looking for books to use where I can fussy cut flowers out or birds or different things out for my journals. And so it's hard when you look online because a lot of places you can't, that has used books, you can't actually flip through the books. So I thought this may help you if you were looking for books. Then I can show you a few that I have to use and a few that I do use. And that way, if you wanted to find them used online, you could, because I know recently when I couldn't get to the bookstore, I had been looking online for some books, but every time I looked, I didn't know if it had any, if it had actual illustrations or if it had actual photos of the flowers and the birds and things. So I always try to find one that's illustrated because I don't want the actual photos. I want illustrations that I can fussy cut and use and put in my journal. So this is one that I have another version of it, and I absolutely loved it. So I went ahead when I saw this and bought this one. I think it's pretty much the same as what I already have, except the cover's pink. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't even look to see if it's a different year. It could be that it's just a different year. Now this one does have shinier pages, but I haven't found that bothered anything at all. Normally I don't like shiny pages, but the pages on this one is not shiny enough that it interferes with the flowers when I cut those out, because I do ink them and age the pages some. But as you can see with this book, what it is you'll have the flowers or the plants. If it's on the top of the page, there'll be words at the bottom, but on the opposite side you have plants on the bottom. So when you cut these out, you get more that way because you're not having to decide, do I want the flowers on the front or back? And most of this book is that way. There are some pages, I did find in the other version, there are some pages that you have to decide, okay, there's flowers on the front and back, so which ones am I going to use? Like for example, this one. If you want to cut these out, you've got to decide, do you want this side or this side? So, you know, some pages are like that, but this book is good because most of the pages are not that way, so you get a lot of flowers from this book. And so you have a lot of things to fussy cut out of it. And so, and these pages, when I say slick, they do feel a little bit different. They're very, they're not slick like a magazine. They're not shiny like a magazine. So they do work great. And the pages are rather thick. They're not thin pages, and so these work out. And then something like this you could use as an actual page in your journal if you don't mind. Well, this will be in your journal if you don't mind losing those fussy cuts. But these are just wildflowers, but there are so many in here. So it's just every page has illustrations on it. So that's the great thing. And then every so often you'll have pages. I don't think my other one had these pages with the large photos. So I haven't compared the two. I hadn't got the other one out to compare. But I've cut the other one up quite a bit using these flowers and stuff. So when I saw this one, and I think I only gave $4 for it, so I thought that was a good deal because I think this book is regular $20 or so. So I thought that was a good one because I've enjoyed having the one that I already had that I've used over the last year. So I picked this one up. So, and that one is Wildflowers of North America by Pamela Foray, if you're interested in looking it up. So another large book that I found, and the cover, I'm not worried about this. When I go to look for these skills, I'm going to cut these books up anyway, so I'm not worried that this cover here is tore up like this, because it is just the cover like that. And so you still have this beautiful book. So when I got done, I could use this to make a larger journal. So this is an older book. The one I showed you before is not that old of a book, but this one is, let's see. This one is actually from 1970. It was in Roman numbers, so I had to pause and look that up to see what that was. So it is from 1970. So it's older than I am. So it's a fairly old book. I would consider it probably vintage then. But I've never had this one. I just came across this one the other day at the bookstore, and it is super thick. And so the pages that doesn't have pictures, I can use in collages, and then these maps would go great in a journal. And let's get to the actual flower pages. So you have quite a few pages at the front here that doesn't have any photos to cut out. But then you get to these, and look at these illustrations. It is full of plants that you could fussy cut. And the pages are really thick on this one too. So you could fussy cut these. And what I noticed about these is you have the flowers on one side and words on the other, so you don't have to make a decision. And so if you look, as you flip through the book, each page in the book has some flowers on it. So you could use, so I could take this and use this as a page in the book and, you know, fold it in half. Something like this I probably would, because they're overlapping. But then in this one, that could be, and so that's what I thought for this one. A lot of the pages in this one I would use as pages in my floral journals. And then you have some pages where you could have some really nice fussy cuts. And you just could cut around all of these. And so I just, when I saw this one, I knew I had to have it as well, because it has some beautiful flowers in it. And I forgot to tell you the name of it. It is Wildflowers of the World. Paintings by Barbara Everett and text by Brian D. Morley. And in my bookstore, I found these in the biology section. So you can look in several different sections in your used bookstores if you have one nearby. I try to look in the gardening section and in the biology section and then in the nature study section. And that's where you can find a lot of these books. And so not all of these flowers would be something I would use like that. I wouldn't use on the tag, but you never know. I may can find a use for that in a collage or anything. So I think this book was well worth it with all the different flowers in it. I'll just give you a quick flip through so you can see all the flowers and things that's in it. So this is a good one for junk journals, I do believe. I think this one would be fun to take these pages that are super full that you couldn't fussy cut and make pockets and journaling cards, and actually use this like you would scrapbook paper. Instead of using digital paper or using a paper pack, take this and make something with these pages. And so that's what I plan on doing, is using some of these for some pages. Oh, look at that page. That is so pretty. So yes, there's a lot of pages in here. So it's 400 and, it says plate 190. So it's, I'm not even sure how many pages. It's 400 and some pages. So that is a lot of flowers. And that's a very large book. So that is another one that I found that I really liked. And so these I use all the time, but I use them up pretty fast. So I went ahead and bought some more, and I don't have all of these. These are some, I didn't have them all, so I did go ahead and pick them up. So this is one I was looking on eBay at, but I couldn't flip through it, so I was like, I didn't know if it really had that many flowers, because some of your field guides don't have a lot of flowers in color. It's more black and white photos, and you could use those, but I really was looking for something that had lots of color in it. And so this is another Wildflowers of North America book, and the book was coming apart, which was fine because I'm going to take it apart anyway and fussy cut the flowers out or use the pages to make different things. And so there you can see there's lots of pages in it as well. And the great thing about it is you have flowers on one side and then you have writing on the other, so you don't have to choose between which flowers to keep. Okay, so here is another one. It is 112 Birds in Full Color. Birds, a guide to most familiar, wow, that's hard for me to say tonight. So it is a golden nature guide for birds, and this is an old one. This one is from, let's see, 1949. So the reason I got this one is just because of the pages, the color of them. I just really love the aging on these pages. So the pages at the beginning will definitely be used in collage. But then you have some wonderful pages that you could fussy cut the birds out. But I also think that I will use these as journaling cards. So I will put coffee stain paper on one side and then I'll have the image on the other. But there is so much in this one. So let me just show you the images in this one. See if I can do a flip through. So you have lots of pages. But now this one you will have to make a decision. So if you want this bird, you have to decide, do I want this bird or this one? So this one's going to be a harder one for me because it's so hard for me to cut up something when the other side has a just as beautiful picture on it. So see the cardinal or the little scarlet tannin. I don't even know how you say that. But this is a beautiful book. So this one will be great for junk journaling as well. And there you get 3 birds on one page. So some of the pages you will get more to add to your collages and fussy cuts. And I am planning on making a bird journal, so this is going to be great. And so here's another golden guide, and I love all the golden guides. I actually like the golden guides for using them as field guides for my kids when we go out and about for our nature studies. But we have newer ones that we use. So when I pick up these older ones, I use those for my junk journaling, and then the newer ones the kids actually use for school and for their nature studies, and just trying to identify plants or animals when they find an insect or something they don't know what it is, or a tree. These little golden guides come in great. So I love them for more than just fussy cutting. But here's another one with the flowers, and this one is from 1950, and it has some beautiful illustrations as well. And I'm okay, the pages are loose in all these because these are really old. But there's some great places to fussy cut, or you can cut this out and add it to a journaling card or to collages. So there's so many in here. And I don't know that this one is just, did it say Wildflowers? It just says flowers. It may be Wildflowers though, I think it is. So there's all kinds in here. And so then this is a newer one. And we already have this one on our shelf to use for identifying flowers. But so I went ahead and picked it up though because, if you notice, the pages on the newer ones are shiny, whereas the pages on the older ones are not. And that's what I like. I like the ones that's not as shiny. But I went ahead and picked this one up because it was so pretty. And it's pretty much the same as this one, but just a newer version. And so I picked it up because I still think that some of these images would be fun to use in my journals. And so here is another bird one. So this is the Golden Nature Guide from, I think I said 1949. And then this is another version of it. And let's see, is this a newer version? It's from, well, no, it's 1956. So it's pretty much the same. So all these are pretty much the same. They have pretty much the same illustrations. I'm trying to see if this one is, if the pictures are different. I don't know if they're exactly the same. Yes, they're pretty much the same. But I can never have enough birds because I've got bird field guides, and I've got one that I've just cut totally up. And then I also had a wildflower field guide that I had used up all my pictures in as well. So I just wanted to add these on. So when I can find them, because when you go to the bookstore, you can't always find them. So when I can, I grab them up. And then there's another golden guide, and this one's just another newer version. This version is from 1987, actually. So it, you can see it's got great illustrations in it, though. So I like to grab up these golden guides when I go to the bookstore, and honestly, I have another one, the bird one's laying right here, too. So this one, these two are exactly the same. But I like to get them when I can, because sometimes when you go, they don't have any of the field guides, and then other times you go, this last time that I went and they had tons. I actually left some behind because I didn't need any more of the flower ones. I had plenty of wildflowers, and I felt like I had plenty of wildflowers because at the same day I picked up these bigger books. So I did leave some behind, but I do like to get them because they are fun to use to fussy cut up. I like to fussy cut up books and use them in my collages and different projects. So I hope that this was good information for you and helped you to be able to see some books that you could use in your journals if you are like me and you like to cut up some flowers and things to put on tags. And so I know it's Christmas is coming up and fall, and so really we're not into flowers right now or the bird journals. We're mainly working on our fall things and our Christmas journals, but these will be here when New Year rolls around and I can make some of my bird journals. I think I'm going to wait till the New Year to make my bird journal, and I'm sure in the summer I'll be using lots of flowers. And so I just wanted to share these with you, and hopefully this was helpful to you. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.